Good morning. I've got Chris Piscitelli here, one of the all-stars from the Jeep design team. Good morning, Chris.
Hey,
welcome.
how you doing?
And we're in the Wagoneer Roadtrip from this year's Moab Safari concept. And Chris is kind enough to give me a drive of it, and all these concepts drive. So, a bit of background on Chris. He's the lead designer of the new Compass, one of the more interesting mid-size SUVs, and he's also had a hand in the new JL Wrangler, and he also designed the Wagoneer Roadtrip. Maybe tell us a bit about the Roadtrip.
So the idea behind this was kind of a little bit of a look back into mid-60s Americana. We really wanted to have that going on a road trip to Yosemite, via the mid-60s. So we considered that from everything from the colors to kind of the steel wheels and just all the cheesy details that we find our way to work into all angles of the projects.
Wow, the colour's certainly spot on.
Yeah.
It's a custom mix?
It is a custom mix. Originally the car was a similar shade of green. We just kind of amped it up a little bit, and then we actually crowdsourced the name. We put it out there with a couple different options, and on social media the far winner was mintage green. So kind of
Mintage green.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's one of those things. The keeping the bench seats, keeping that kind of vague shift pattern. All the original wheels, so that it feels more like you're steering a boat than a car.
You can't see this, but we've got lap belts.
Oh yeah, only the finest in safety.
We're lucky to have belts at all, I think.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So yeah, benches front and rear and oxblood leather.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty lovely colour combination. But what's happening under the skin, Chris?
So underneath, we stretched the wheelbase 5 inches. So we took the rear axle, moved it back 3 inches, and took the front axle and moved it forward 2 inches. Now originally these cars were leaf suspensions, and we've changed it over to a link coil, very similar to a JK. The frame, we kept the SJ frame and just boxed it, and then used JK parts and axles to make it so that it's super capable.
Wow.
So
it's certainly got a more modern stance to it.
Yeah, and I think part of that is when we push the wheelbase out. I mean, really, these cars originally were lifted station wagons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had 4-wheel drive, but they had a small tire. So the issue is when you put a bigger tire on these things, it gets into the rear door very quickly. So to kind of get around that is where we moved the wheelbase out. But in doing that, it proportionally gave it a much more modern feel, almost more like a newer SUV.
Yeah. So it's 2 inches at the front, 3 inches at the rear, beautifully integrated. You'll see in the outside shots that they've used wheel arch flares to sort of disguise the extension, and it doesn't interfere with the back door or anything like that. It's a really well executed setup. So what's under the bonnet?
So we talked to our friends over at Mopar, and they hooked us up with a 5.7 crate Hemi with a standalone ECU, and then we mated that to a 4-speed overdrive automatic transmission.
Wow.
So it's nice because I had a Wagoneer for a long time, and you get very used to, even the newest ones of them are carbureted, so you get used to that dance of getting in the car, doing the little prayer, like, come on, start this time, don't do this to me.
The old pump.
Doing the old pump,
Yep.
and then starting it up, and then the silent, relief when it actually does start. So this is nice to actually turn the key and know that it's just going to start every time.
Yeah.
So
Still makes the right sounds though.
absolutely, and it's got some pep to it too. I mean,
Yeah.
it cruises. I mean, and on the capability end, so kind of disguised down there is the locker switches. We did want this thing to have front rear lockers. So it's got, they look like more pulls for you got the wiper, the lighter, because everybody needed a lighter and an ashtray all over the vehicle back then. And then 2 more of those pull knobs, and they're the front and rear lockers.
So what's the story with the dog?
Old Slackjaw. Yeah,
Slackjaw.
yeah.
I hear there's a story behind Slackjaw's
Yeah,
name.
well, we found him. We wanted a dog because every family road trip needs the dog to come along, and we found a giant stuffed animal online, and it said lifelike dog, and we got it, and he came in looking more like a kangaroo. So his face was all kind of drawn, and his jaw had no structure to it, so it just was a flap that just kind of hung open. So we did some surgery, so nothing in the vehicle has remained untouched, including the dog.
Custom dog.
Yeah, he's got a custom nose, so he looks more like a dog. Yeah.
How very California.
Yeah, and so he's a really well behaved. He just kind of hangs out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the dog. I mean, the luggage in the back, the interesting story about the toolbox. We have a recovery kit.
We'll show you a picture of that. It's really cool.
So the vehicle originally had a Tornado inline 6-cylinder, and we knew we were going to put the crate motor in there, so that motor went out, but it's got a very, very cool cast valve cover, and we knew we wanted to do something with that. It was just too cool to throw out.
And it's really broad for a single cam as well.
Yeah, it's wild. So we ended up turning it into a toolbox, and now it holds our recovery kit, straps, gloves, a couple other odds and ends. And then, of course, every family road trip needs a pile of luggage in the back. So I sourced some 50s, 60s hard case luggage, and then we bolted them together and cut a big hole in the middle of them, and now it serves as our onboard cooler.
Chris, every Jeep designer I seem to meet seems to be a mad Jeep head, a hot rodder, etc. Are they all like you?
Yes, some are as nutty as I am. Others are a little more. But everybody's super passionate. Like whether it's Jeeps or because not everybody is a full blown like Jeep head or like lives off road. Some of the guys are into hot rods. Some of them are into track cars and stuff like that. So, but I'd say that everybody is at the very least into turning wrenches, which is always kind of cool.
You've certainly got some good leadership from Mark Allen.
Oh yeah,
he's probably one of the biggest car heads I've met.
For sure.
And he's the boss.
Yeah, always helps.
Wow. So you got some hot rods at home?
I do. I have it's more of a pile of parts than it is a car right now, but I have a 29 Ford Model A Roadster pickup with an early Hemi in it.
You said the F word.
Yeah, the rest of the cars in the collection are Mopars.
He also said the H word.
Yes,
Hemi.
I did. So it's got the Mopar power plant. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So I have a 65 Dart GT convertible, which was oddly enough my first car, and it still doesn't run 25 years later.
Good on you.
Yeah. And then
One day.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to it. I swear. I'm not a hoarder. Maybe I am. But and then I have a 54 Plymouth Savoy, which is my daily driver.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Daily driver. This guy could get any Jeep he wants as a daily driver.
Yeah.
But he's got a 54 Plymouth
I got
Savoy.
a flathead 6 with a 3 on the tree. It keeps it interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I told you he's a car guy. Now, I have got a suggestion for you.
Shoot.
Pretty sure you guys will be probably putting the final touches on next year's Moab concepts now, but if you're not, I've got a feeling we're going to see some Wrangler utes among the collection next year.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought of giving it an Aussie theme?
Aussie theme?
Yeah.
So give me some thoughts here.
If you wanted to do an Aussie theme, you could. I'd recommend go and have a gander at the Deniliquin Ute Muster. Google image it,
I will.
and you'll see there's a certain genre for Aussie utes that, it's emerged. Anyway, big bull bar, something like looks like it probably belong on a Kenworth. Very important. You have truck exhausts.
Oh yeah, you need that.
Hopefully vertical ones.
Yeah.
And the back window's got to have either a Bundy Rum sticker or an R.M. Williams sticker.
See, and I thought that was only in the States that you get.
You do it too?
Oh my God.
Oh well. Okay.
You'll see some things, man. You'll see some things.
Well, Australia's going to love this ute, so
right on.
We'd love to see it at Moab. Anyway, we're rolling up to a stop now. Thank you very much, Chris.
No worries.
You're a cool guy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And
Thanks
this
for
is
the
a
time.
beautiful car we're driving.
Thank you.
Good on you.